first for the Bucks. Zeke Elliott broke the dog. Jalen Smith. That is a play to remember. Oh, what a tackle by Jalen Smith.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Frisco Report. I'm Michael from DCFN on YouTube. I can't do this alone. I got Cowboys blog Joe with me. What's up, Joe? How you feeling? How was your Victory Monday yesterday?
Victory Monday has gone over into Victory Tuesday. It was just a really good win, man. I enjoyed it, but I don't want to get too overhyped on this team because they do this kind of thing to us. But a good win overall.
It was a good win, and for me, yes, it was a good win. But the only thing the Cowboys did, in my opinion, now I'm not a party pooper. I did have a Victory Monday. I did celebrate it. But for me, Joe, all they did was end a 3-game losing streak. That's it. They had an awesome performance, but they won when they were supposed to. They answered all the questions. Did they quit on Garrett? Can this team win above 500? Can they run the ball? Can defense tackle? And they answered all that. So who stood out to you the most on offense?
Who stood out to me on offense was the running game. Offensive line and running game. So that's kind of, they wanted to, the whole thing was to rediscover their identity, and they got the chance here with this game, and I think they did. They kind of recaptured some of that identity of, owning the lines on both sides, which is extremely rare that we've done that this season. So,
all right,
it was great.
Joe, if I told you that the leading receiver was Tavon Austin with 59 yards and Michael Gallup, Randall Cobb, and Amari Cooper only got 22 yards collectively, would you have thought we won that ball game?
No. Those stats were alarming to me, man. At the end of it, I was like, wow, these guys. There was no passing game, but I guess they didn't need it in this game.
Yeah, Dak was 15 for 23, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, didn't need it. And Tony Pollard, he had, from Pro Football Focus, he had like 130 or 120 yards after contact. What do you think about that one, Joe?
I think it's an amazing stat. One that we haven't had all year long, baby.
Yeah. Were you surprised Kellen Moore stuck to the running game as much as he did? Were you surprised Xavier Su'a-Filo, who Aaron Donald was pretty much on the whole night? There was a couple of times he rotated his Egbart inside, but were you surprised how well the offensive line was playing with Xavier Su'a-Filo in there?
I was shocked out of my mind, Aaron Donald, you think of Aaron Donald. He's the guy that's the most, he's your difference maker. They totally wiped him off the stat sheet, man. It's like he wasn't even there. An invisible body, okay? So I loved it. But I really was shocked by Xavier Su'a-Filo in this game. But every game is different. We'll see how he does this next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's switch over to defense real quick. We know what Sean Lee did. It's no secret.
The general.
The general. Put respect on the name. I apologize. I'm a big the general fan, right? And we're not talking insurance. So with Sean Lee,
the general.
The general. That's right. Is this what the doctor ordered? Is Sean Lee back to motivating this defense? He was there, in the pre-speeches, doing dances and just, playing freely. He didn't practice all week, and he just went in that game with film study, made a nice vintage 2011 Sean Lee interception. Yeah, He made a nice sack. It looks like he's playing loose out there. I mean, besides Sean Lee, maybe you can touch on Sean Lee. I mean, who else stuck out? You know,
Sean Lee, the general. This guy, he looked really good, man. A lot of people want to put dirt on him. You know, they want to put him 2 feet in the 6 feet under, that kind of thing. But man, he's really showed up and shown leadership. You know, and I think some of these young guys that have the C on their jersey need to learn from this, because none of the young captains have stepped up. Jalen, DeMarcus, they're nowhere to be seen. You know, up to this game anyway. You know what I mean? But Sean Lee, I think he brings out the best in the whole defense, and you know, let's ride that. You know, if that's how this defense is gonna play with him leading the way, let's just hope he can stay healthy. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. It was like the game of the veterans. You know, Jason Witten, Sean Lee. I mean, Blake Jarwin had a heck of a game too, and it was just nice to see. And you know, Cowboys made a kicking change, and they put in Kai Forbath. They signed him up. He made a 42, a 47, and a 50-yarder. His first kickoff was out of bounds, obviously, and he had another one that go out of bounds late in the game. But was that a good move, cutting Brett Maher? Did it look like in one game, just in one game, did it look like, you know what, Cowboys might have something here?
Yeah, 15 weeks too late. All right, a lot, or some of those games, those missed field goals, they cost us the game. Those close ones with the Jets and the Rams and these guys, those missed field goals, they killed us. We could have won those games, you know. Everybody's like, it's early. It's early. Shut up, man. I hate that fan to this day. You take a loss early this season, you're gonna want that win back, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we can go through 7 of them, and we could tell you, we could probably take it back about 5.
But I got off track there, so forgive me, guys. Forgive me. But I have a lot of fire for that subject. So for Cobra Kai, baby. It seems like we always get these kickers that, you know, we like to attach nicknames to them already. So Cobra Kai, he did good. You know, he did good. So I'm glad they made the move.
I just can't remember the last time I seen a Cowboy kicker make 40-yard field goals.
Yeah.
And they were right down the middle. I mean, just sliced it right down the middle. So having said all that, you know, the team had their back against the wall. Jason Garrett, as we know, the fans can't stand him. Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones are pressured about with questions about him and departing with the Dallas Cowboys. Does this win? It is obviously Jerry Jones ain't putting a 10-year extension in front of his face the next day. But, I mean, if the Cowboys keep winning and they go into the playoffs, let's say they make the NFC Championship, is Garrett back on the team?
No, he won't be back. I have inside information that it is still Super Bowl or bust for Garrett. So, you know, we've all seen this kind of season before where the Cowboys, they play like crap, 3-5, they make it the playoffs. This year, 2-3 streaks of losing, we make the playoffs. I mean, assuming, right? We're assuming here. So, but we know how that story ends. They might win their wild card game, but they won't get past the divisional round. So, and that being said, Jerry knows that, you know, and even some of his post interview was kind of funny. Like, he's still kind of throwing shade at Garrett, you know. He's definitely not off the hook. No way. Not even close.
No, I 100% agree with you. You know, Cowboys were looking to talk to Sean Payton a year ago. I mean, Cowboys were ready to depart from Jason Garrett last year when they lost to the Rams and just got embarrassed by the Rams. So there's been some hot turmoil. Obviously, they said, you know what, pick your offensive coordinator, pick your quarterback coach. We know what we got on defense already. Let's see what you can do when we give. And right now he's 7-7. They gave him a chance. Mm-hmm. You know, they were trying to replace him, but I think he's gone no matter what. Um, and it's on to the next head coach. But right now, let's focus on this season. And right now, Joe, we got the Eagles. We got the Eagles. And this is a big-time game. I think, honestly, and this is what I was thinking about the other day. I think, because there's a lot of NFC East chatter about Carson Wentz is better than Dak, or Dak is better than Carson Wentz. This is the game that ends the argument. Everything's at stake here. What do you think?
I think it's a funny conversation to have because they've been compared all the way back to the Senior Bowl. They both played in the Senior Bowl. Wentz was coached by Garrett in that Senior Bowl, so it's just a very interesting road that I think these three guys are coming. Garrett and these two quarterbacks that he saw at the Senior Bowl. It's an interesting intersection, I guess you could say, because to me, Dak's playing better. You can see the progression each season. You really can. All right, with Wentz, I think he came into the league plateaued already, and the only thing that he could, bail him out was his athleticism. But the injuries have robbed him of that, so he's not the same player. Dak's the better quarterback. Not even close for me.
I'm not a big Dak fan, and even with my eye test, I can tell you, Dak's always been the better quarterback. He just his health, best ability is what? Availability, and Carson Wentz don't have that. I think he forces the ball. There's been reports after reports after reports that Carson Wentz isn't really even a true leader on the team.
Mm-hmm.
We know what Dak is. We've seen what Dak is, and there hasn't been an issue with what kind of leader Dak is. It's really even not about what Carson Wentz. What does he has? Like 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions this year. But a lot of his touchdowns are coming in garbage moments. They're coming from behind. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
And we can almost say the same about Dak, but with Dak though, we know what we have in him. He leads the league since he's been in the league in fourth quarter comebacks. So we can almost say the same thing about Dak. But I get, and I'm not just being biased here. I really think Dak Prescott is better than Carson Wentz, and I think
believe
this.
you.
Well, we'll say it. What do you think?
Like I just said, I believe you, bro. I believe you. I think there's a lot of fans that have that same kind of thought about this situation. It's not uncommon. You know what I mean? So yeah, the way that everybody evaluates these quarterbacks is very interesting. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people see the same things. You know what I mean? So it's not like people are making things up about somebody not being as good as a player. Like Wentz is not as good.
I believe you.
Plain and simple. All right.
Cut and dry. What does the Cowboys really have to do? They won in overtime against the New York Giants. They won late in the fourth quarter against the Washington Redskins, who are just at the bottom, 3-11 football teams. Yes, it is an NFC division match, but you see what the Cowboys done to the Rams, Cowboys had no chance to even beat the Rams. And Jason Garrett outcoached them. Kellen Moore outcoached them. Richard outcoached them. The players outperformed. What do the Cowboys got to do to go in there to Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia and go win the NFC East?
I think they need to keep doing, these little things that Garrett, is kind of famous for, I guess. He's of all the bad that a lot of people, load on Garrett. He does have some good points to him, and a lot of them have come in these types of situations where he's able to get the team up to the challenge. You know, we've won some playoff games with them. We've lost some very close games that we should have won. So you know, I think it's gonna be one of those moments where he's gonna have to pull out another trick out of the hat to motivate the team. Is what it is.
Yeah, and Sean Lee, being interviewed with Jane Slater, said that Jason Garrett gave one of the best speeches he's ever heard since he's been in a Cowboy uniform. There was reports going on that Jason Garrett was playing highlight reels of the superstars on the team and saying, don't you miss this feeling? Let's get back to this feeling of making plays in the National Football League because time's limited. Time's limited. That was pretty much his message. So he does know how to capture players. Unlike Rod Marinelli, he cannot coach a young guy to save his life. But Jason Garrett, he can talk to the young guys. Obviously, the guys haven't quit on him. Yeah. It's just they've been getting the snot whooped out of them. And sometimes can I say sometimes that happens or it's uncalled for? I mean, I don't know.
I think it's an interesting time right now to be you know, a fan of this team because you know they once you think that it's like the thing from The Godfather. You think you're out, but they pull you back in, right? So the Cowboys they dominate a very good team. They were on a pretty good streak themselves, you know, and they looked like they were going to be the team that was going to catch fire and make a run. And here we come and smack them across the face here and there. They left the game with 2 black eyes and knocked out teeth, you know. I mean, we put it to them. So let's replicate that. Let's do that to the Eagles because I hate the Eagles.
Oh, I can go on and on and on. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I will demolish their fan base right now. I don't want to do it. I ain't gonna waste my time. Yeah. But you know, I mean, we're gonna put up videos this week, Joe, and those slum fans are gonna be in there talking mess, saying how they're so much better, but yet we're still 7-7. Both of us are, and this game determines the NFC East. We're really that you're that better than us. I completely agree. You know,
yeah,
it makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, and it's gonna be it's a NFC East championship game pretty much. You know, the loser of this game is pretty much knocked out of it. You know, I think for the Cowboys, they win and they're in, so they have a slight advantage. So they need to win this game, and you know, let's see, man. I mean, it would be the craziest thing in the world, man, if the Cowboys were able to make some noise in this playoffs, man. But we'll see, man. We'll see what happens. It's going to be one for the Gipper, all right? The Gipper is Jason Garrett, and this team's got to win one for the Gipper. Like, it's going to be like that every single game as far as they can take it, you know?
It's crazy because early on in Jason Garrett's career, all 3 of the consecutive 8-8 seasons boiled down to the last game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And go home or bust. And he failed all 3 of them in a row. It was, I think, to all 3 NFs, it was the Giants, then it was the Eagles, then it was the Redskins. Like just boom, 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 all in a row. So he has experience of this type of game. He has the players, I think, a more talented roster than what we had when Jason Garrett took over, if I'm being honest. And there's no excuse here. There's absolutely no excuse here. Jason Garrett has this experience of win or go home. He has the roster. We know what this roster can do. They put it on the showcase Sunday afternoon. I mean, this is Jason Garrett's make or break. This is his season killer. This is his, do I pack the office or can the box stay in the corner empty for another week game?
Yeah, that's what it is, man. That's why I was totally shocked at that performance, man, because you pretty much know Garrett's out the door, right? So the players know that. And I don't know, for me, you would think that if the players knew that, they wouldn't put all this effort into the game, but you know, he got it from him. He definitely got the best out of these players in this game. Then, you know, the game plans, they looked on point. I mean, keep doing it. Keep doing it for just a few more weeks.
Yeah, just a couple more weeks, and then you're 0-0 again. You get a fresh, clean start and a wild card game at home, and they just got to do it because oh man, I'm telling you. What's the other scenario? Cowboys can win. No, I guess they still be out, right? Because
if the Cowboys win, they're in. That's it. But if the Cowboys lose, they can still get in if we beat the Redskins, but the Eagles lose their final games.
Who are they playing? The Giants?
I think they close with the NFC East. Yeah, I think they close with the Giants.
Wow, but we're not focused on that. We're focused on these Eagles, beating these Eagles, and this is a big-time game. The first game of the year, Joe, Doug Peterson pretty much guaranteed a win in Dallas. He ain't guaranteeing a win this week.
Yeah, and it's on the Cowboys, man. Like this game for both teams is who wants it, who legitimately wants it, because that's it. The loser is pretty much out of it. They would need a miracle and help to get in. So you got to win this game. So it's all the chips are in the middle of the table again this week.
Jason Garrett's only lost 2 times in Philadelphia in his entire coaching career.
Yeah, that's a hell of a stat right there.
So we'll see.
That's a good little stat line.
And Jalen Smith, he said it himself. I love playing in Philadelphia. There's a type of energy that brings the best out of me. So, Jalen Smith is playing in the best stadium he likes to play in. Sean Lee, can there be consistency? Can there just be consistency from Antoine Woods? I mean, the Eagles do kind of have a running game if they can get it started.
Yeah.
I mean, they really don't have a wide receiving core, but they've been finding ways to win games of late. These Philadelphia Eagles can turn around and just cope or bite you right in the ass. And if you ain't careful and you don't slap that cobra in the head, they got to come out and they got to kill them early. We can't be toying with these guys. It can't be 3-7 going into halftime. I want another 28-7 going into halftime, Joe.
Yeah, I do too, and I think we have to demand that they get some more turnovers. I think that is such a big boost for this kind of team. This is the kind of team that needs moments to elevate them. So getting turnovers is that kind of thing. And if they don't get turnovers, it's gonna be a harder game. But man, if we can get something, a swipe, fumble recovery, or an interception, it puts us in a good place.
It sure does. It sure does. And man, this game is bigger than it's the biggest game of the year. I mean, really, everything you've done as of late can be almost erased with the magic marker, and you can go back to 0-0 into the playoffs with this game right here. And they say momentum can either make you or break you, and if the Cowboys have the momentum, they should pick up right where they left off, Joe. But that's all I got. If you don't got it, if you got anything else,
no, that's where we're at, everybody. Let's enjoy this ride. Let's see where it takes us.
Where can they find you, Joe?
You can find me on YouTube, everybody. Cowboys Blog. Just look me up, Cowboys Blog. Also on Twitter and Instagram, it's Cowboys Blog Net. Hit me up, and I'll follow you back.
That's what it is, guys. Make sure you follow the Frisco Report on Twitter. What's the handle for that, Joe?
It's at the Frisco Report.
At the Frisco Reports. Yes. Yeah, maybe what we need to do, Joe, is me and you need to put our minds together. I'll maybe PayPal you something. We get a gift, and anybody following the Frisco Report gets a random gets put in a drawing or something. Maybe we need to do something like that. I don't know. We'll talk about it in the future.
Definitely a good idea. Definitely, we'll talk about that offline. Heck yeah.
But yeah, you can find me Dallas Cowboy Football News on YouTube, Dallas Cowboy Football News on Facebook, DCF News 1 on Twitter, right here on the Frisco Report, Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, guys. Share it with a friend. It's Christmas. If you're traveling, there's no reason not to listen to this. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.